Reese, you love urban street music. If there's one thing I think of when I think of you, it's urban. You must love Wiley.
I just love the fact that Joe Wiley's branched out and is kind of doing such... no,
Good
sorry.
night.
Someone had to do that joke, didn't they?
No.
Yeah, this music wasn't written with me in mind either. You know, this is music that is rubbing my face, and I'm not referring to a George Lamb cliche in any way here. But it's I don't care about
rubbing your face in what? In some graffiti?
Yeah, exactly what it's doing. I don't care about this
on your barn door.
Yeah, I don't care about the Rolex situation. I don't care about it. I don't care. It did upset me, and it started to enter my brain. Either way, Sammy's giving me a look that expresses exactly the same sort of feeling.
It's left to you, Harry, to champion Wiley.
Well, I quite enjoyed it, Steve, but I would like to hear the Iron and Wine acoustic reworking, where perhaps they change the lyrics around and lament the girlfriend, borrowing his favourite cardigan or something on a cold night, because that's what happens in my world.
Sure.
I haven't got a Rolex, it's not a problem. But on the BBC One Extra website, this track was highlighted by Mr. Jam. And apparently there's sort of inference that he might be selling out a bit, because he used to do proper grime, and they're saying this might be a bit too chart friendly. But the first comment on the blog is that it's big and needs to be on da telly by da beginning of summer. Huge. If you put da single in Asda, I can promise it would sell out up and down da country.
Was that racist?
No,
the way you read that. What kind of voice are you doing?
Well,
there?
it's because and is spelled nd.
So that's how he's written it. You've not just added some kind of...
No.
But the third comment says this will be massive in clubs, which is just what Gary Davis used to say. So you've got the now and the past there coming together.
Hey, I'll tell you, she's been around for getting on for 25 years, if not longer. We know her affectionately as Madonna, and this tune is from this new album that What She's Got Out. I thought I'd drop it in, see what you'd make of it. Maybe it'd be massive in dead clubs, so we shall find out as we hear Candy Shop. So, from Madonna's new album, which is released tomorrow, the album is called Hard Candy. That is the track Candy Shop, and you'll notice there Pharrell Williams, who is just popped in at the end there, just to say hello to people in France, England, and the rest of the world. And Pharrell also co-wrote the song and produced it as well, and he, alongside some other big-name producers, Timbaland and the like, have made this album with Madge there, and it's nice to hear there that as she approaches 50, she sounds like she's retired to the country to run a small sweet shop. Which is very nice indeed. But I couldn't help but notice maybe there was also a double meaning there in that. Are you keen? Yes, stunning, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Harry, how are you? Are you attracted to the sweet things of Madonna?
Well, I just thought it was staggeringly inappropriate. Just think of the poor children, they've been, landed with stupid names already, and now you've got Madge basically drawing attention to a bit. And,
sure.
How sweet they are, apparently.
Yeah.
It's just completely wrong. And I was going to say, because she's too old for it. And then I thought, no. Because, of course, Tom Jones, he's cracking on a bit. And he's constantly going on about his old man as well. Yeah. And I think, really, if they just did a duet in a studio somewhere and drowned in each other's juices, it would help.
Oh, man alive. Is there still a place in your heart for Madge, Ruth?
The last time I got really excited about Madonna was kind of around Frozen. A Ray of Light, maybe. But ever since then, I've just found it to be this kind of always trying to be a step ahead, but always just kind of being this rather muscly, grotesque, kind of barber-wearing parody of herself. And I just imagine her in the studio just being really horrible to everybody and just kind of doing loads and loads of exercise and leaning against the sound booth and doing those vertical press-ups you can do. So, I don't know, there was something to it that was quite sexy, but yeah, and Harry's point about the kind of the, I just think, Mum, sure, just have 5 or 6 children, how many there are now, just going, Mum, stop it.
It's like the equivalent of the roly-polies, who used to come on with Les Dawson, those big old ladies in leotards. Yeah, it's just.
I think Madge is wearing a bit better than that, isn't she?
Well, she is, but the whole ethos of it is the same.
You are hip and young. You may not even have heard of Madonna, Sammy. But what did you make of it?
I don't know if it's because I've had too much brioche or if it's because she's made me feel physically sick. The last thing I want to contemplate is Madonna's Turkish Delight. That was the most horrendous song I've ever heard. No, she normally makes me feel like I'm chewing tin foil. That's just the way she puts me on edge. But I can definitely see French and Saunders, really split up now, but doing some sort of Christmas parody where Jennifer Saunders has candy canes on as nipple tassels.
Sure, yeah.
Just a bit. It was like she was parodying herself. I didn't enjoy it.
Khaleesi's milkshake did the whole thing a bit classier,
Yeah, and it brought people to the yard. The yard needed people to come to it because it was filthy, needed people to tidy up. I don't know. I never saw the video. Okay, so listen, that's pretty much it for the Steve Show. Thank you very much indeed for my guests here, and also we had Connell earlier and Darren Brown. Thank you very much to them. I will leave you with Doubt Hope from Wild Birds and Peace Drums, which is the name that a Swedish duo called Mariam Wellington and Andreas Wirlin record under. They only really use percussion and vocals on their album Heartcore, which is out on the 12th of May. And as I say, this tune is called Doubt Hope. Stuart McConey next. Slight return from the Blue Tones, kick-starting this edition of the Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Steve Merchant, and my gang here. Sincere apologies to Six Music listeners who tuned in the last couple of weeks, and I wasn't here. I forgot to mention to the fans about 3 weeks ago that we were leaving for a while. I took a little vacation, and so I feel deeply guilty the people who tuned in last week. Was it John Holmes? I'm sure John did an excellent job, but obviously the huge Steve fans, there's keeps them. There's a couple of people I'm sure on sort of life support systems. It's the thing they cling to every week, and who knows, we may have lost a couple of listeners, but I'm sure hopefully John has recruited a few more. So we're back. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. Music today, my little gang here as well. I will introduce them to you quickly. We've got to keep this first link pacey. Jude always tells me, because otherwise people tune off in disgust. They are bored because they have no attention span. So imagine I'm a handsome hunk. I just sat down in front of you, Sammy, at a speed dating event. Quickly, tell me about yourself. There's a lot of other honeys. Hurry.
I'm Sammy, I'm 21, I'm from the north, I'm 5'3" 3/4, I have an array of piercings and tattoos, I like trampolining, I've got a penchant for crafts, and I'll be a really cheap date because I can't drink alcohol.
You sound like my kind of lady, but hang on, maybe I swing both ways. Who's this? He's handsome and he's posh.
Hello, my name's Rufus. You'll tell by my colour and cuffs, the shirt that I'm wearing today, there is a floral pattern inside my collar and cuffs. Don't think that this makes me gay, because I'm not. However, I am proud of the characteristics I share with the cliche idea of the gay man. I can cook, I can dance, I can sympathise with other people emotionally, and I can contrast similar colours quite favourably as well. I'm good with colours.
Okay.
And for some reason I've written posh down here on a piece of paper and underlined it in order to remind myself to say that.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that.
So you could, if I perhaps had an accent wall in a living room, you'd be able to tell me what sort of wallpaper I could have alongside that.
I'm very good with wallpapers, Steve, but I'm not gay.
Okay, well I look forward to perhaps having you round to my flat later, and we can discuss that further over a glass of perhaps cheap sparkling wine. Yeah. And Tiny Dan, quickly, I'm losing interest in you. I can barely see you.
Yeah, well, if you can see me, you'll realise I don't bring a lot to the party. I have no particular skill, but I am an amiable, non-violent presence, which is good. I don't bring a lot to the party, but I'm quite good for making up the numbers. I'm a bit like a utility footballer, a journeyman, like Martin Carruthers, who used to play for Darlington.
Thank you. Well, you've bored me with your football reference.
Yes.
I'm afraid you may as well leave now.
All right, see you later.
There's a big fat fellow in the corner there who might be more interested. And finally, he works in a bank.
Yeah, I'm Harry, I'm 33, I work for a bank. I'm wearing this pair of jeans. I've not washed them for about 7 weeks because they're my only pair of jeans, and I'm worried that if I wash them, they're going to shrink and I won't be able to get them on again. I think they've expanded while I've been wearing them, and I like to leave it like that. And I'm going to have to get the Febreze out on them soon.
That is the worst attempt. If you ever did that in a speed dating event, I would love to see the result.
Oh, no, women love that because they think, he needs to be looked after. We need someone to wash his jeans.
Ooh, sexist. That's a shame. That's a shame. You were doing well then. No, sounds sexist. Women are not just there for cooking and cleaning. All right, they're also there for sex. Okay, so where was I in the last couple of weeks? I was Southeast Asia. Never been there before. This tune will hopefully give you a clue as to where I was. Yeah, intriguing. This evokes perfectly the country to which I visited. From 1981, Kim Wilde and the powerful Cambodia. I love any song that's about a love that cannot be, that begins with the line, he was Thailand based. He was Thailand based. So yes, I was in Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, there's very much an embargo on my anecdotes because I've got to write an article about my trip for a well-known Sunday newspaper, which prohibits me from talking in full hilarious detail and sharing with you many of the droll anecdotes. which is a great shame because obviously that's very much the life and soul of this show. Needless to say, you're obviously a lot worried because it is obviously a very, very poor country, and so I did pass an awful lot of very poor people. I was able to see them through the tinted windows of the air-conditioned 4x4 that I spent almost the entire holiday in. If I wasn't, then I was then someone with an umbrella was walking me from the car to the hotel in the advent of monsoon showers. Yes, it was great. I can mention briefly that you'll notice this little red piece of red string on my wrist there. Very lucky to have received a blessing. I was staying in a number of very top hotels. I have to say, I'm not going to BS you. I did not rough it. I was not slumming it with the natives, as you can imagine. I was spending almost all my time trying to avoid the natives as best I can. I like to think of myself, you know, those people who go, I went to Mexico. We were in a complex, never had to leave, never saw a Mexican for 3 weeks. That's very much my approach to foreign holidays. But yes, we were at a hotel, and one of they brought a monk to the hotel to give us a blessing. He'll meet you in the library at 3:45. We can't do 3:45. Well, call it 5. Whatever. It didn't matter. He was just happy to sit there all day until we were ready. We were in there, and he gave us a ceremony. And I've never had any. I find kind of religious ceremonies and things like. I've got this urge to laugh. I just find it because it's you've got to be so sincere, and obviously I didn't. And so it was very. So we had to kneel and do lots of sort of bowing and kind of lots of hands. Palms together, sort of. You've got to hold it just above your chin or below your nose, depending on his position. So he starts giving this blessing, and my eyes were closed. He told me to close my eyes, and suddenly I started feeling things hitting my face. And I don't really. Maybe you've had a Buddhist blessing. But they throw sort of little flowers at you, but they were kind of like bulbs. They were sort of bulbs, so they hadn't really sort of grown. So they were just like these little sort of hailstones being thrown at me. Just ow. Exactly. And after every blessing, I just heard them hitting me in the face, and I just find it almost impossible not to laugh. So there's people present taking photos, just me kind of stifling giggles at this thing. It was very kind of earnest, and a guy was giving a translation, and I thought this is it's very very sincere. I didn't want to embarrass myself, but then he kind of gives you a sense of the calibre of the hotel, because his first blessing, when it was translated, this is obviously a place where lots of important dignitaries and the like stay, because the first blessing was, if you are a Hollywood movie star, then may all your films be successful and may you get many fans, which I'm presuming is tailored specifically to a Gere or Crawford, whoever may pop in. And then next it was going to be, if you are very high in business, then may you get much profits. And then I think the last one was, if you are in political high office, then may all the votes be cast for you. So I was thinking, this is excellent. And so I was thinking it's quite classy. And then, sort of trying to take it very seriously. And then suddenly, mid-blessing, oh, it wasn't my phone, it was the monk's. And he just carried on going, trying to ignore it. I'm thinking, well, this is taking a little bit of the edge off this. And then he hurriedly got to the end of his blessing, delved inside his robes, pulled out his mobile phone. Really classy, one of those really classy exclusive phones that you can't get in a car phone warehouse. You've got to go to a special shop. And it flips up, just starts jabbering away. I'm thinking, we haven't even wrapped up the ceremony yet. What are you doing? So, as I say, it's not perhaps the kind of original sort of, the original feel of that country there. Maybe I didn't experience the true Cambodia in its purest sense.
I like the fact that the blessings seem to be geared towards the rich and powerful.
Yeah.
The people who most need help.
Who need a blessing. Yeah.
I quite like that.
Exactly. Although, frustratingly, there was a bit of a delay at the airport. 2 hours, so blessing obviously didn't work.
No.
So that puts pay to all Buddhism. That disproves its power.
He didn't have a bespoke blessing for you, because I'm thinking that other people had blessings written for them, and you can just see him looking down a note. If you are a bespectacled, tall, award-winning comedy writer who does a weekly radio show on a obscure digital...
Sadly, it wasn't that specific, but only with... But you know how you can sometimes, when you go away, you can kind of reinvent yourself to a certain degree, because obviously you're in a foreign country, no one knows you. Well, I took to wearing a hat.
Oh, not this again.
No, I did. I took to wearing a hat, and I've got the hat for you. I think I look brilliant in this hat, and I'm thinking I might become one of those guys who wears a hat. Okay.
You always think you look good in a hat.
I do think well,
and it's never worked thus far.
When have I worn a hat before?
You've worn a lot of silly hats.